A very good evening, everyone, to all the students and maybe even faculty who are joining us today. So, you've been attending the Choose Fronts tour. I hope it's been good for you. As of now, this is the last webinar for today, and I think one of the most expected ones, which is called the Scholarships, Internships, and Employability. I will just request my panelists, Mr. Shekhar and Mr. Bruno, to turn on their cameras now so that we can start the session. Yes, we do have a little bit of lag with one of our panelists who is our scholarship team head, Rajni, but no worries. She can always join us towards the end of the session. That's not a problem. But yes, coming to scholarships, internships, and employability. The idea is we've broken this webinar into three parts. First is, of course, how do you fund your education before you go to France? How do you fund yourself when you're in France? And what happens when you come back to India? And we have a great team here who are sort of the experts in all of these industries. So we had to start with scholarships, but I think we have a bit of technical issue. So I think we'll start with internships for now, and we can always come back to scholarships right after. So I will share my screen. Shekhar, I'm going to give the parole, as we say, to you. And if at all you can't see my screen, just let me know in a bit. One moment.
Thank you, Soumya.
Yes, and to all the people who are here, you can of course go ahead and leave your questions in the chat box, and we'll try to cover as much as possible. We have a lot of information to give you, so I will request you to sort of keep your notepads ready, so that you can take all the notes that you can. But if at all we have time, we will surely take up the questions. If not, we will come back to you separately. So over to Shekhar, and just in a moment, I'll share my screen. All right, Shekhar, we can begin with the internships bit then. Over to you.
Yes, thank you very much. So, Soumya, thank you very much, everyone who is present over here. Yes, I would like to introduce myself, Shikhar Suti. I am country manager for India for NEOMA Business School. I am responsible for recruitment and business development of NEOMA Business School in India and neighboring countries. I'm also alumni of this business school. I graduated from this school 13 years ago, and I worked 10 years in corporate finance in France before I moved back to India. Great. So let's move with the presentation. Yes, so basically, just to tell you about exploring internship options, let me share you about NEOMA Business School. First of all, we are a Grande École. Grande École means we are a prestigious school where we have around almost like 9,500 students on total all campuses, and we have almost 100 nationalities on campus. So you will be completely in international environment when you come to us. So talking about our school, we have different support team with us to guide you for internships and about your career. So for before that, when you come to us, you need some kind of support when you arrive in France about your housing, accommodation, and everything. For which you have housing admin team. They help you with everything in France. And then once you are in a program, you need some guidance regarding, sometimes you come for 2-year programs, you want to know about what specialization you should want to choose. For that, we have a career team in which we have career counselors. With NEOMA Business School, we have 37 career counselors to guide you with CV, motivation letter, preparation for interviews. And you have right to take appointment with the career counselor, and appointments can be taken online right from first week of arrival at the school. Now what can you do with the career counselor is, career counselors will definitely guide you to like help you building like how you want to evolve in your career. They will give you guidance plus help you with preparing CV, motivation letter, preparation for interviews. However, we have a career portal with us. So we have a career portal with us on which you have at least around 25,000 offers on our school website, including job and internship offers. Now, why this offers, like why I'm talking about this portal? This is a school internal portal. What is it difference from external portals is that sometimes some of the NEOMA students who are already doing internship, who are finishing their internship, they publish their offers on our school portal, which are exclusive offers that you cannot find outside. So you can apply for those kind of offers. Apart from that, there are some external websites too that you can apply to, you can use. There is there is APEC, there is Pôle Emploi, there are different company portals also that you allows you to apply for different opportunities. Now when students are studying in France, they must be wondering whether when I study in France, will I find internship in France? I don't speak French. Do not worry, internships can be done in any part of the world. For example, myself, I found my internship in United States, and that offer I found on a school website. So do not worry, you can really do internship in any part of the world. Last week ago, I did a webinar in which we had one of the student who find an internship in Luxembourg with Credit Suisse with a very good bank. So definitely you can, even if you don't speak French, you can explore opportunities in other countries. Okay. And after the completion of internship, you have to look for jobs. So these are just some of the companies that you can see that recruit from NEOMA Business School. This is just a minor, a small part of big companies, but most of the big companies recruit from the schools like us, which are big schools, brand the equal. So you should not worry about when it comes to career. And all our programs are quality programs and they are accredited grade master. Now what does that mean? Grade master is the highest accreditation in France. It allows you to understand it's a quality program. uh, yes, and internship you have to apply on your own. No one in apply in your place. You have to apply on your own, but you definitely you get guidance with us. Just to tell you where NEOMA Business School, can you click next? So just to tell you where NEOMA Business School students or alumni are present. So we have more than presence in 120 countries. So no matter where you travel, you should find someone from NEOMA working over there. And we have 54 different groups, and there are more than 500 events per year that you can do. So why this is important? Because even when you are looking for internship, you can contact our alumni to see if there are some internship offers which can help you to grow. Yes, so that's it. You have my email and contact number. Do not hesitate to contact me. We are here to help you. And one most important thing I wanted to tell you, after you complete the program, you get a 2 year stay back. After master's program, you get a 2 year stay back to look for a job. Okay. And this is not a work visa. Traditionally, people are used to calling PHW, which is post study work visa. No, it is not a PHW. It is called as APS. In French, it is called Autorisation de Provisoire de Séjour. If I translate it in English, it's temporary resident permit, which allows you to stay in France and look for a job, but it is not a work. Now, how would you start working? People have questions. So how will I work if I get job? You can only start working when your company is sponsoring you. You get a work visa, and then you can only go to office after you have the work visa. So your company has to sponsor you. This rule applies to all the countries, not only like apart from India. If you are Indian, any other country you will go, you will need a work visa to start working over there. Yes.
Thank you so much, Shekhar. I think you gave us a very good idea of the fact that, when students choose France, it's not only that their worldview has to be in one country. The minute they're entering France, they have the whole world that is accessible to them. Just to add a couple of things to what Shekhar might have already covered, or we can add from the Campus France division, which is the French Embassy's student mobility section. So if you are a student here in India at the moment, and you want to go for an internship, which is part of your own master's course in India, you can apply for internships outside as well. We have scholarships that help you with it, and my team, Rajni, she will of course talk about scholarships in a bit. But this is a website. This, as you can see, doctora.campusfrance.org. You can look at a couple of master internships, and there have been students who've gone to France to complete one semester or let's say an internship as well. But coming back to the fact that, as Shekhar already mentioned, that internships are something that, of course, you have to look for it yourself. But what is interesting is most of the courses in France, professional courses, they already have internship inbuilt in their programs, even in NEOMA. So if you go to NEOMA, for example, you already have internship as a part of your program. So when you would want to look for a job, which of course Mr. Bruno will tell us a little bit more about, when you want to look for a job, if you already are interning, there is a higher chance that you can find a job in France. And even if you're not, let's say if you go for this sort of an internship that I'm telling you about now, you can still, using that internship, try to look for a job. But a couple of things that I also want to mention from my side is that when you are trying to look for work in France, for example, these are some important tips. Please do take care of your CV and cover letter. I'm sure you will at some point hear about a CV SOP workshop in the tour as well. So please customize them according to your the job that you're applying for. Don't just use the same exact template. There are two organizations like Shekhar already mentioned, Pôle Emploi and APEC. Yes, they might, the web pages are in French, but you can ask for help because you have definitely French faculty on campus. Here also you can look for jobs. If you want to find out more information, we've put the Campus France India link because we have a detailed article on how to look for work in France. But more importantly, go to job fairs, whether in France or in India. And with that, I will actually bring you to an Indian job fair that the French Institute and Campus France in India organize for you. As you can see, here you can always go and meet people. We hope that we can have a job fair very, very soon in a physical space. But there are also these two websites where you can look for job. So you've done your internship, or you go from India to France to do your internship. You've tried to look for a job. You have a 1+1 post-study work visa. But what if you come back to India? What really happens then? And with that, I will ask Mr. Bruno to speak about when students come back to India, how can we help them with employability? Over to you, Mr. Bruno.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Bruno. I'm the Regional Director of the Indo-French Chamber of Commerce and Industry. I'm based in Mumbai and I'm in charge of the Western region. So to give you an overview of the Chamber has been created 40 years ago by Indian companies, the Tata, Godrej, and Mahindra groups, who were willing to develop their business, bilateral business between India and France. Now we have moved and we have around 650 members. 50% of our members are subsidiaries of French groups and the 50% remaining Indian companies. We have a very broad range of activities. Obviously, our main goal is to animate this Indo-French community. And for that, we organize multiple events. We organize advocacy events to support our members. So, for example, we have organized recently a roundtable with the Minister of Industry of Maharashtra. We have organized an event with Mr. Piyush Goyal, with Mr. Nitin Gadkari, with the Chief Minister of Goa. The whole idea is to offer a platform to the CEOs of our member companies and to have a direct access to these politicians. On the other hand, we have also a business support service which works hand in hand with Business France, and our goal is to also to support French companies who are coming to India and help them to establish, to create a legal structure, but importantly to recruit collaborators. That's the main point of our discussion now. So a broad overview of the French, Indo-French relation. The main figure I think on this page is French companies employ around 3.5 lakhs Indian collaborators. So the figure is wrong, it's not 3 lakhs. Now it's 3.5. I can give just an example of Capgemini, who employs around 1.2, 1.3 lakhs collaborators in India and recruits around 1,500 collaborators per month. And obviously they recruit fresher. And the important point is they are looking for this kind of profile, Indians who have studied in France, who have a good understanding of the French culture, the French working culture, because for them it's more easy to for this collaborator to adjust of a company like Capgemini with a multinational international company. So this kind of profile are really on demand from this kind of multinationals, French groups. One more point, 39 of the top 40 French multinationals that we call CAC 40, 39 of these top multinationals are present in India. And you can have, like on this page, few examples. You have Alstom, BNP, Capgemini, Safran, L'Oréal, Thales, Michelin, Saint-Gobain. All these groups have a very strong presence in India. And I would not say they are French. Now they are totally Indianized. The CEO or the CEOs of this group, the managing directors, are Indians. So now they are totally Indianized company. Let's take the example of Moët & Chandon. The new managing director is Indian. Capgemini, the CEO of Capgemini is Indian. Rocket, which is the leader in India in the starch industry, the managing director is India. So the position, you have all levels from executive assistant to managing director. Now the French company is totally open to recruit the top level management Indian collaborators. That's absolutely not an issue since many years. That's an important point to notice. I think next. Our HR department, which is the main point for you, we offer different services, obviously recruitment. And our core business is now recruitment of Indian collaborators who have studied in France, because they are in high demand, and we work mostly with the French companies who are established in India, and there is a high demand for this kind of profile. Indian national who speak French or not necessarily have an understanding, basic understanding of French language, but who have studied, do an internship in France or in UK or in US as understanding of the French, European,
Bruno?
but good profiles and with decent salaries. Next one. So now we can go to the next page, the sectors and the different type of job. We can go on the next page. Yeah. So what is on high demand? Hospitality, travel, obviously, I will put it in brackets. The business will start again maybe within 1 or 2 years. COVID has drastically affected the hospitality and business in India. Banking, finance, it's in high demand. So banking, finance, it's very easy to find a job. Legal consulting, HR, IT, obviously. Agro, food processing business, there are a lot of French companies in this sector in India, not difficult to find a job. Engineering, it's a very, very interesting. We have more and more demand from French companies who are looking for an engineer who has done his engineering diploma in India and then who came to France to do his MBA. And these both diplomas, they are in high demand, and this type of profile, the technical commercial, are in high demand from our members. Retail, fashion, energy also, renewable energy, it's really a booming activity in India. We have more and more French companies in the sector who are coming. It's interesting sector. Aerospace defense, it's clear, even if the sector has been affected by COVID, there is still a demand. And in the defense sector, obviously, it's there are more and more French companies, subsidiaries of the main players like Safran or Thales, who are coming, SMEs, and obviously they recruit all levels from the top management to the basic employees like executive assistant, but good opportunities in this sector, automobile and pharma. Yeah. We have also developed an interesting fair, we call it Bonjour Talent. So we organized the last one 1.5 years ago, and we put in touch the HR head with the candidates. And we have a very interesting also committee in the chamber. It's a HR committee. So it regroups 100 HR head of French and Indian company, and they meet regularly, they exchange good practice, and this network helps us to have extremely good relations with the HR head who are our final client, finally. You can join us on all these platforms, Facebook, IFCCI, LinkedIn, and I invite you whenever you want to share with us your profile. We have regularly job offers. I will not tell you that we have thousands and thousands of job offers, but we have regularly job offers, and we are always willing, to increase our database and looking from any type of profile, from fresher to very senior top management profiles. These are my colleagues, Sapna, who heads the HR department, Nia, who is based in Delhi for North India, and Bhakti, who is based in Mumbai, managing Western region and South. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Bruno. Thank you for giving us a very good idea what happens when students come back to India and how can they actually look for jobs. Yes, COVID has affected the world, but as Mr. Bruno always says that it's a very temporary phase and things are returning back to normal slowly. So you will definitely find a job. Please reach out to our panelists. But coming back to scholarships, I mean, the whole idea before you go to France, before you can avail all of these amazing possibilities, how do you really get to that? So I will request Rajni now to speak, and I will go back to my presentation right from the beginning. Over to you, Rajni.
Thank you, Soumya, and I'm extremely sorry for the initial glitch. I'll be very brief, and I'll quickly move on to the presentation. Can you move to the first slide? In the meantime, I was just looking at the comments, and one student just said that, I come from a middle class and scholarships are really important for me. So yes, scholarships play an important role, in a student's life when you decide to, study, go for your studies abroad, because, it's not only about the tuition fee. With the studies come your extra expenses, like you have to arrange for accommodation, your living expenses. So, scholarship really helps you, to cover all those aspects of, staying and studying abroad. Before I go on to the various funding options that are available for students, if you're looking to study in France, I'll quickly give you an overview of our scholarships. So all the scholarships that are offered by the Embassy of France in India are merit-based scholarship. That means, your academic performance really matters. The Embassy of France each year awards more than 500 scholarships. It is both French government as well as the co-finance scholarships with the institutions. We'll talk about those in the coming slides. All the awardees of our scholarship get the status of boursier du gouvernement français. That means they are French government scholarship holders. With that comes additional benefits, like students get priority access to cruise, they get visa fee waiver, they also get Campus France fee exemption. Of course, the scholarships are available at all levels, from bachelor's, master's, PhD, short-term training, summer schools, etc. The maximum age limit to apply for our scholarships program is 30 years. I'd also like to tell you that the French government today spends around more than 11 crores on financing these scholarships. Can we move to the next slide, please, Soumya? Thank you. The French government scholarship program in India is called Charpak. It offers 3 kinds of funding. So, when we talk about Charpak scholarship, it's not just Charpak Master Scholarship. There are 3 kinds of scholarships available under the program. The first one is Charpak Lab. If you're a student who's enrolled in an institution at a bachelor's or master's level, and you want to take an internship, like Samya just said in the beginning, if you want to undertake an internship or a research project in France for a duration of 2 months during your academic break, you can apply for Charpak Lab scholarship. Then the other scholarship that we have, of course, is Charpak Master Scholarship, which offers you funding at master's level. If you're planning to pursue your master's studies in France for a year or two, you can apply for master's program. If it's a 2-year program, the scholarship can be renewed in the second year as well. Then we have Charpak Exchange Scholarship. As the name suggests, it is for an exchange program. If you're Indian institution, it is offered at both master's and bachelor's level. If you're a student enrolled in an Indian institution who has a partnership with a French institution, this is very important, that your Indian institution should have a partnership with a French institution. So if you want to get some information on that, I would suggest you to get in touch with your Indian institution to know what kind of partnerships exist, so that you can apply and benefit from Charpak Exchange Scholarship. We have 2 sessions. One is the autumn and the other the spring session. Autumn is from September to December and spring from January to May. I'd like to tell you that the application process for lab is closed and we are no longer accepting applications, but you can still apply for Masters in Exchange Scholarship. Coming on to the application process, we accept all the applications only on our online platform. No applications are accepted via email. So I suggest that you go on Campus France India website, look for all the documents that are important, check for your eligibility criteria before you apply for the scholarship. Can we move on to the next slide, please? There are, besides the Charpak program, there are other scholarships that are offered by the Embassy of France. The important one being Raman Charpak. It is offered in collaboration with Department of Science and Technology, in partnership with Department of Science and Technology at PhD level. So if you're a student who's currently enrolled in a PhD program at an Indian institution and you wish to do a part of your research in a French institution or laboratory, you can apply for Raman Charpak scholarship. Then there are other scholarships such as FEMIS, which is offered in filmmaking and documentary, UDAP in architecture and heritage conservation. There are other scholarships offered to teachers, French language teacher. If you're a teacher in a French school or university, you can apply for this teacher's training program. Moving on to the next slide, please. There are also scholarships that are offered by French government and European Union, for example, IFI and MOBGA. Unfortunately, these scholarships are not handled by the Embassy of France. They are directly handled by the French, the ministry in France. To get more information on these scholarships, eligibility criteria, benefits, application process, I suggest that you go on Campus France India website. You will find all the details with the application process. Just a quick question here, just a quick remark here. For IFCCI scholarship, the application process generally starts in September and October. For September 21 intake, unfortunately, we are done with the application process, but you can always apply for, once you go to France, you can always apply for, to fund the second year of your master's program. Just keep a check on the application timeline. The next slide, please. Other than these scholarships, we also have co-financed and joint scholarships with French institutions. To apply, for example, the Nimrana Music Foundation, Sciences Po, ISAI MBDA, EDEC, Rennes School of Business and Krishnakirti Foundation. To apply for these scholarships, you have to directly contact the French institution. Since they are responsible for the selection of the scholarship, you do not have to submit an online application on our platform for these scholarships. The next slide, please. Other than the scholarships that I have mentioned, there are also scholarships that are offered by the institutions. They have their own in-house scholarships. They can cover your tuition fee, partial tuition fee or full tuition fee, in some cases. And also, they may also cover your living expenses. To get more information on these scholarships, I would suggest that you get in touch with the institution whenever you are applying for admission at an institution. It's always recommended to check for in-house scholarships. The famous one being the Emile Boutmy scholarship that is offered by Sciences Po, and we also have IDEX offered by other French institutions. The next slide, please, Samya. Yeah. Franco Indian Education Trust Scholarship. So this is an Indian trust that is fully supported by the Embassy of France in India. The trust was formed in 2017, and since then, it has been offering scholarship and has enabled more than 60 students to go and pursue their higher studies in France. Currently, there are 3 scholarships program available under the trust that you can apply for. Yugam Lagrange, Shikhar Thales, and Baman Samandari scholarship. These scholarships are offered in the field of engineering and can cover your living expenses or tuition fee. Depending on the program you're applying for. To get more details, again, please go on our Campus France India website. You'll find all the details related to eligibility. Next slide, please. Yeah, so like I just said, that if you want to get more information, please log on to Campus France India website. You'll find all the details there. I would also suggest, since it's easier nowadays, it would be better that you follow us on Instagram and Facebook, because we regularly update on all the scholarships that are, offered or launched. As soon as the, information on timelines, everything is available on our social media. Also, you can, log on to our campus booths, which is an online scholarship programs directly. So you will find all kind of, not just in India, the scholarships that are offered by different organizations, foundations, institutions in France that you can apply for at various levels, be it bachelor's, master's, or PhD. So, you can always look out for these scholarships according to your field of interest. Nonetheless, if you have any queries after this presentation, please write to us on scholarship.france@ifindia.in, and I'll be happy to answer all your queries.
Thank you so much, Rajni, and thank you. You came back with a bang, even though there were some technical issues, but thank you. I'm sure the scholarships was something that the students definitely wanted more and more information on. Am I audible to everyone? Because I have a chat that says no sound. Is it fine? Yes. Okay, perfect. All right. So just to quickly summarize all this information, because I'm sure the 3 panelists have given a lot of these, very important tips. So starting with scholarships, you can start with the French Embassy in India scholarships. You can look at what the French government or the European Union is offering. You can always go to the Campus Bourse, the scholarship grant section, the directory. And of course, you have to check your eligibility first. There is no point making applications when you're not eligible. It will only add to our work and it will not get you the scholarship. So check your eligibility. If there is a query, as Rajni said, you can write to us at the email address that she shared. And then, of course, you apply for it and you would get it, and it would be great for you. It would make your life even more easier. Then coming to internships, as Mr. Surti already told us, that internships, you have to look for them yourself. They are always inbuilt in your courses in France, in most of the courses, especially the business schools. So you will definitely have help on campus with the career hubs, the career development hubs. So you will get information from them. Over and above that, of course, go to job fairs, keep networking. Networking is really where you find both your internships and jobs. And if you want to go from India, well, of course, you have that directory that I showed you that you can try and get an internship and then move on to a job. Lastly, not to forget, whether you want to work in France or back to India, the way Mr. Bruno has already told us, it's always good to learn French. I mean, it's a language that is spoken across the globe in 50 countries. It's an official language in 30 countries. Well, it's an official language in United Nations even. And we want Indian students to go as high as they can, to United Nations and other big organizations. So speak the language, take our classes, get in touch with all your Campus France managers. But coming to India, as Mr. Bruno already said, if he has a very, very strong presence, they have been aiding French companies to come to India. You might not have a French company, but if there are French companies more and more coming thanks to IFCI, that is when you're able to even look for work in India if you can't in France. If you want to look for work in France, for work, and then of course make it into a proper work visa. If not, you come back, you send your applications to the HR team at IFCI. You can always come to our job fairs, you can go to their job fairs and keep networking, be a part of the French alumni network. We have a France alumni network. We always put you in touch with other people, and this is only how it's going to it's going to become even more easy for you. Just coming back and being in one closed space is not going to get you the best jobs. I mean, you could get it, but it's not going to really add to the kind of potential and talent you're going to bring from France. So please keep networking and please attend all of such webinars that we do for you. There are a lot of questions. I do have a couple of minutes, if at all there are something that we didn't share. So I'll try and take them. But thank you. We have very, very healthy participation today. We have about 220 students. So really, thank you. There are some things that I will quickly add, even for PhDs, because we don't have a lot of time today. Even for PhDs, there are scholarships. There is a separate portal where you can find offers for all the doctoral studies that are available at the moment. Of course, go to Campus France India page. There, the Campus France India website is your Bible. It really is created around the queries that we have been having from students for years. So you have articles for everything. So you will definitely find it. You can't find it, you will find our details. For example, my details and my colleagues, the 14 of us who are spread across India to come and help you with anything related to France. And of course, you have Mr. Suti and Mr. Bruno, and of course, Rajni's email addresses as well. You can write to them. We do request that, keep it very concise, because we have about, 1.3 crore students to look out for. So we do request you to keep your emails very concise and put everything in one email. But of course, if you have multiple questions, not a problem at all. Rajni, just to quickly ask you, there are a lot of questions. Would we be able to take them? Have we covered them? If you could help me out here.
If there's time, I can, of course, answer the queries. If not, I've shared the scholarship email address. The students can always write to us. There's no problem.
Okay. Also, I can see that there are a lot of these questions regarding, I'm from a technical background or I'm from a certain background. What do I do? How do I look for things? See, the one thing that we can tell you, and it's actually going to help you in the long run, we as Indians have this habit that everything sort of comes to us. The placement cell comes to us, the companies come to our college. It will, of course, get you a job. But if you really go out there, if you really look for it yourself, if one thing is that you will understand what your skills are, which you might not, because a certain company came to your campus and just hired you for a limited number of skills. You have much more skills. So go out, look for jobs, make that process competitive so you can present your best self and you get the best of best from whether French companies in India or abroad. So try and look, so use all the resources. We have given you a ton of resources. It will take some time, but instead of starting at a very low salary, use these resources to just start at a very, very high salary. And I'm sure you can do it. I believe in it, really. Okay. I doubt it's very hard to go through, there are really a lot of questions. So I doubt we'll be able to go through them. But as I requested, you have our email addresses. First, please go through the resources and then come to us. It only makes our job also more difficult, and we can find more things for you instead of you just giving us your CVs and, expecting a sort of a clear answer. Ask us questions out of, more and over and above your resources that we've given you, because that helps us also to bring you more things. Otherwise, it becomes very difficult to cater to, like I said, 1.3 crore students. So of course, It's not possible to meet face to face at the moment to any of our employees, any of our colleagues, but we have managed to do this for over a year now in an online presence. And I'm sure a lot of students benefited because since last August, students have been going continuously to France. No student visas have been stopped. So of course, everything's online. Reach out to us. We have the Campus France India website. And of course, we have the details of our panelists over here. A big thank you to everyone. We had a bit of technical difficulty here and there, but I'm sure all of you must have picked up something or the other. And if you keep following us, we keep doing this very often. So if you forget something today, it will come back to you. You just have to keep following us. But a big thank you to everyone. That's a wrap for all the webinars today at Choose France Tour. Do not forget to come tomorrow. This was just, half of it. And if you think you've gained something, there is equally the same amount of stuff to gain tomorrow. So please come to us tomorrow. Do not forget to talk to all the representatives who have joined us from 40 different French institutions. That is where all the institutional scholarships are. So please go and meet Mr. Surti. Even he also has some scholarships probably at NEOMA that he can tell you about. So go and book your counselings. And we will see you tomorrow for another webinar and another long day full of tons and tons of information only for students who want to make France their country, their home in the future, whether as a student, researcher, alumni, in any way. Thank you so much, everyone. And we will wrap up for today over here. Thank you. Thank you, all my panelists.